Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back. I know I said I wasn't going to upload a video for a few days because I contracted the man flu, but do you know what I mean, life's got to go on, so we've got to crack on, and the review was due to go live, so I've got to try and muddle a video out, so I do apologise if I'm a bit quiet or a bit withdrawn, or you get the idea. Anyway, today's video is about the Corsair H70. Now, I did have the original H50, and like a few review sites out there, you know what I mean, we're not afraid to speak out, and we didn't really like the H50 that much. Now basically what they've done with the H70 is make the pump, it's meant to be a better pump, but it does look smaller. The actual height of it's a lot smaller, and the biggest change, I suppose you would say, is the radiator is now 50mm thick. Still 120mm. You get two fans with it this time, and reading off the box, it does all the major sockets: 775, 1156, 1366, and AM2 and AM3. Now I've got it running behind me at the moment on Prime with my i7 930, which is what I always use, and it's set up at 200 times 20. And it's at 1.35 volts on the Rampage Extreme, and Ghosts are in again on the Rampage Extreme. And yeah, I'm going to pop you off a tripod because I want to show you the actual unit, because I always test every heatsink the same, and I'm not about to change it for the this. I don't change it with any of the others, and I'll explain when I've got the tripod in my hands, because you'll be able to hear me better then, and I'll show you what's going on with the H70 and the testing. Right, first things first guys, I'm going to explain the temperatures. This is the maximum values that have been recorded, this is the minimum values that have been recorded, so this is like idle, and this is the current value at the moment. Now you can see there's quite a range across the cores. Now this is normal for my i7. Core 0 is always hotter, no matter what heatsink, how many mounts that I get, everything. And I always take my temperatures from that core, and there's always 5 or 6 degrees difference between core 3 or the 4th core and the 4th and the first one. Now if manufacturers want to get arsey with me and say that I should be taking it from the lowest temperature, then that just means that the NHD14 actually performs a lot better. Now we normally run our tests for 30 minutes because of setting the video up and everything. This one has been going absolutely flat taps, 100% CPU for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes now. So my recorded temperatures over 30 minutes were 82 degrees for a 4 GHz overclock at 1.35 volts. And the room is starting to warm up now because I've turned the air conditioner off. You can see that that's the outside temperature, that's the inside temperature. When I turn the air conditioner off at 30 minutes, so we've gained another 2 degrees while the air conditioner's been off, because of obviously the system's running. So you can see that, you know what I mean, if you take a couple of 3 degrees off of that and you get back down to my 82 degrees recorded temperature. Now you can hear the ghosts again. I'm going to stand this side so there we go. Basically, while the air's going around the system now, you can see that I've got the pump, both the fans running off of a Molex, so they're both on 12 volts. Now that's critical to make sure that the pump's getting all the, you know what I mean, the full 12 volts, it's pumping round properly, because the temperatures are drastically different if you don't run the pump on 12 volts, and the fans are also running on 12 volts. Now you can see that the rad is a good amount thicker, which is what we wanted, and you can, the H70 does actually come with fan speed reducers, like little resistors, and it makes between 2 and 4 degrees difference, but they are much quieter. If you're not running a 4 GHz overclock like I am and running it silly fast, then I would suggest that you run these, because it does make a good amount of difference. If you have a look there, you can see the mount and the pump actually a lot lower than the RAM, and these are actually bendy fittings as well now, so it's much easier to route. And there you go, you can see the system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you back on the tripod now, talk to you about my thoughts on the unit a little bit more, but as ever, the full review is available at overclock3d.net. So I'm going to stick you back on the tripod and give you my honest thoughts on this now. Right then guys, I have fitted the fan adapters on the unit now, so if you listen carefully, you may be able to pick up my main rig that's behind you, but the actual Corsair units are much quieter now, and I actually really like it in that state. Now, Corsair did say because of that bigger radiator and a more efficient pump, that it was going to be as good as any heatsink available on the market today. Now, I would say it's as good as most of the heatsinks on the market today. It still doesn't come anywhere close to the NHD14, but that's mainly because obviously the NHD14 is massive, but the winner with the NH for me is the fact that it is so quiet, and to get this to cope with that 4 GHz overclock, you needed those fans running full speed, which are quite loud. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a bad unit though, because now you've got that lower stance on the pump, it's not quite so big. If for argument's sake you've got the NZXT Vulcan, it'd be perfect for you. And what I would suggest is that you put the radiator at the front of the case. If you've got a mini ITX case, for argument's sake, and a lot of those now have got 120 and 140mm intakes. Now obviously it's not 140, but you can get very simple brackets for the front, so you can have that radiator at the front of your case going as your intake, and then obviously the CPU cooler, where it's not that big, it's not going to matter if you've got a power supply above it, for argument's sake, like the let's think the Lanley Q08 and the Fractal Design ITX case. It would be a great cooler for that with a bracket. Now, the one thing you need to consider if you're thinking about buying this, fitting it in a normal ATX rig and having it at the back of your system, is the amount of overhang. If you've got, even if for argument's sake you fit one fan inside the case, you've got the radiator and one fan, that's still 75mm that's going to come into your system, which I think is one of the main reasons why they've had to make the pump that much smaller, is because otherwise the old pump would have fouled the radiator and the fan. And if you are going to mount it at the back of your case, I would suggest that you have one fan outside of your case, and then the radiator inside, and then the other fan, because otherwise it's going to be absolutely huge. Sorry, I keep burping, I've been sucking Strepsils all day. Now, this, as far as I'm concerned, it's what the H70 should have been all along. It comes with both the fans should you want to use push-pull, the radiator's got a lot more girth. I have found with extended testing, obviously running Prime 95 for like hours on end isn't what we would call real world testing, which is probably what I'm going to get nagged about, the fact that I showed you the video after it's been running for so long. But I did test 4 loops of 3D Mark Vantage, where I literally sat there, watched it, run it again, watched it, run it again, watched it, run it again. So you've got about 40 minutes of what you would call gaming use there, and the temperatures were between 76 and 78. Now, I've not really ever done that for another cooler before, but obviously this is water cooled. They say it's not, but there is fluid flowing in there, there is water flowing in there, and the problem with that is that obviously it can warm up over period of time. So under normal uses the temperatures were a lot better. So do you know what I mean? Corsair have their fans. There are people that are going to go out there and buy this no matter what. And for those of you that have got big RAM, because obviously that's where the Noctua falls on its arse, is the fact that it's so big and can foul your RAM, then this could this could be the one for you. But for those of you with a little bit of imagination and are looking for something different, like with the ITX rigs, if for argument's sake you've got a Lanley Q08 or that Fractal, you could technically have a full-size graphics card in there, a really good overclock on your system, be running this and still be able to pick your rig up and bugger off home from a LAN rig without needing to be Hulk Hogan or anything like that. So there are a lot of options, and that's why one of the reasons why the industry is great. You shouldn't necessarily just go and buy something. You should always, think about all your options and plan your upgrades and what you want carefully, rather than just buying on spur of the moment. But do you know what I mean? Maybe I've taken one too many tablets today or something, because I've been full of vitamin C and echinacea since I made the last video. So I'm going to wrap up now. As I said before, you can go and see the full review at overclock3d.net. But Corsair, do you know what I mean? They've made a big difference this time. It's not quite yet, but do you know what I mean? They are starting to improve. So hopefully, eventually, we'll get a cooler from them that's going to kick the Noctua into touch, because I'm getting fed up saying how good it is. But anyway, for now at least, I'm now going to go and hovel over my keyboard and try and get this video edited where I can still stay awake. But it's Tiny Tom Logan with a good dose of the man flu, out.